Do you want to go or do you want me to go?
I'll go.
Okay.
Do you know how to say this city?
Edinburgh.
Edinburgh.
I'm not gonna lie. We had to look that up on YouTube because
Yeah.
it looks like Edinburgh or something along those lines.
Edinburgh with an H.
Edinburgh with an H. You know, that's what it looks like. But we saw some pretty angry Scottish girl, and she was like, "It's Edinburgh."
Edinburgh.
Really trying to straighten that out. So we're trying to help the cause, and it's gonna be really funny if we're saying it wrong.
Yeah.
But that girl's just trolling us. But that's what we think, Edinburgh. And we have come over here from Glasgow that we spent about a week and a half or something in during the snowstorm. And it was only like an hour and a half by bus. So these two cities are pretty close to each other.
Yeah.
And they're both in the southern end of Scotland. And we're gonna be here for what, 3 or 4 days or something?
Kind of like just 2 days because we got here late yesterday and 2 days of actually being in the city, and then we leave on Friday.
I'm a little worried that we might not have enough time to see everything the city has just coming in.
I don't think that we will.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Man, you just crapped all over Edinburgh. When we came out on the bus yesterday, I was like, whoa, look at that, look at that. The architecture here is really, really interesting. Looking at some castle up on a hill.
Yeah. I mean, such is
what
we've done.
It is what we've done.
Yeah.
So we're going to then be getting a car and going up into the northern Scotland area. But for a couple days, we're going to explore Edinburgh. And the first thing you've got is some breakfast, right?
Yeah, and I don't know if it's necessarily special breakfast, but I've been hankering for a poached egg, so that's what's happening. I've decided that poached eggs are magic. I saw how you make them, and it just looks like a swirl of deliciousness that ends up on my plate, and then I get to pop the egg. It's a great breakfast situation. I'm gonna pop that egg. Gonna try to pop that egg. Came out of the wrong side. Wow. Yeah. I chose this restaurant, Poppy, because essentially their entire list of photos on Facebook was just poached egg, waffle, poached egg, waffle. So I thought that was the right way to go. And maybe it is delicious. I don't know. We chose the Royale, which is an English muffin with the normal poached egg and some smoked salmon. Eric's hankering salmon, I'm hankering poached eggs. Very good. Salmon was a good call. We were trying to keep it cheap. We paid extra for the salmon. Did not keep it cheap. Totally worth it.
One of the very first things that we noticed when we came into the city yesterday was this amazing looking monument that's striking because it fits in with the way that the architecture here looks and everything, but it's even more like almost gothic looking than the things that are around it.
Dramatic.
Yeah, it's just with all those points and everything, it's just a very dramatic building. That's a really good way to put it.
It's the dirtiness, it's the patina.
Yeah, and it's kind of the same as we saw some of the buildings when we were in Glasgow, and they feel dirty, but it makes them feel like old and like almost dignified in a way.
Yeah, that's a really good word.
Yeah, and there's just something about just the grit that it's made out of, and maybe they just because they make them out of a specific type of stone or something here, and it attracts that type of like that type of look or whatever. But it's very, very distinct for this area. I don't even remember really seeing this type of thing in London or anything, so
no,
it feels like
this,
a Scottish thing. You know?
Yeah.
And you said that this was a monument, right?
Yeah, it's a monument to Sir Walter Scott, who was a author and many other things of Scottish heritage.
In like the 1800s, right?
Yeah, in the 1800s. And when he died, they decided they were going to make a monument to him, and they did a competition, and this is what won. Yeah, duh, definitely this is what won. Holy crap, what an eye catcher.
So apparently you can come inside of the monument, and we walk up the spiral staircase. It seemed like it went for like an eternity.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, at the first level there will be a museum. I was like, we must have gone the wrong way or gotten lost or something, but the first level was just like 5 flights up.
Yeah.
And this little narrow passageway.
And
we had
people
other people came on the way down. We were like, is this gonna work? It worked
Tried our
out.
best. There you are. I'm asking people about you. You're gonna be famous.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I was like, did a tall man pass you on the stairs? She said no. And I was like, you know what? I'm pretty sure she knows if you passed her. Because those stairs are small. I should videotape you going through this.
We're gonna need a bigger boat, y'all. Alright. This is way smaller than the other one was.
You think Sir Scott was a pretty small guy?
I wouldn't say he was portly, no. You made it up to level 2. And all that's here are the stairs to level 3. All the other stairs had been enclosed, so you couldn't really see anything. It was a little spooky. These are kind of opened. And if there wasn't the metal gates there, it'd be pretty spooky in a different way because you'd be worried about falling to your death.
I think the last one's going to be a long way up.
More steps. As you climb these stairs, it gets more and more narrow. I literally don't fit here. You gotta make a twist like that.
This is definitely one of those experiences where you go inside something and you know you're in it. They haven't covered anything up. It's all real natural. And you feel like you're a part of it. Like it's almost swallowing you as you're coming up those stairs. It's kind of creepy, and that's exactly what it is on the outside.
A lot of times we go to new cities and stuff, and they'll have like that thing where you can go up on the observation deck and ride like the super fast elevator and see the city from like some super high point. And we've come to the point where like we really don't enjoy doing those things anymore. We prefer go to the big tall thing and look at it from above and look up. But this is different. Because you got to climb up the stairs and have the experience of walking around like in the little like passages and kind of get lost and you can't find your kyde and all that. Like this is a little bit of an adventure, and because you had to climb all the stairs and like all of that, it's so much more rewarding when you get to the top and you just look off over the top of this amazing looking city, and the views from up here are awesome.
And let me just be my frugal self. It is only £5 per person to do this.
Yeah.
And in most observation decks, you're going to be £10 or more.
Yeah, it's going to be more expensive by a lot. I also kind of like the fact that we're above everything, but not so far above everything that it's just like you can't tell what you're looking at. You know, you go up in some of these towers and stuff, and I mean they have value, but you look down at the ground, you can't see. It's just like ants. You know, I'm looking at it.
Everybody looks
like ants. Yeah, but this is so much cooler. I can kind of still see what's going on. I really like that.
Somebody told me there's a castle in Edinburgh on a volcano. Well, wait, no, that's just bullshit. No, it's true. Like, apparently a lava tried to get out and it wasn't able to get out and formed a plug that made, like, just a rock.
It's a volcanic plug, right?
Yeah,
literally.
Yeah. And then they put a castle on top of it. That's madness. That's amazing. That is awesome.
And we've got an awesome view of it from here on the tower. And I'm kind of excited. We're going over there, right? Is that where we're headed?
We're walking over there now.
We're going to the volcanic plug?
We're going to the volcanic castle plug.
On our way back down, we're lost again.
I don't understand how you can get lost in here, but we definitely got lost. We hit a dead end.
Yeah, this is brutal, dude.
Doing fine. Look at that. Just skimming.
Is that a sweet ass shot?
That is a sweet ass shot.
Something that's been awesome in the United Kingdom is they have a ton of museums that are just like completely free. You can go in and walk around and there's like no like hook or hitch or anything like that. It's just free. Come in and experience some culture. And we popped into this art museum.
I just had to go to the bathroom.
Because Katie needed to go to the bathroom. And sometimes we go to art museums and we're just like, yeah, we aren't art people like at all. And it's not impactful for us at all. I guess how I usually feel about most of the time that I go into an art museum.
Yeah.
But this one was striking.
It's because it made you feel small.
Yeah, the paintings are huge inside of them.
Yeah, on the first floor they just have gigantic like life scale or just huge canvases, unspeakable sizes of canvases.
And they were all painted from like older time periods. They were things that were pre-photograph, which I think is a really cool way to just like, that's the only way you can find out what things used to look like. You know, I know that's a really stupid thing to say, but like that's what the world was, and it's our only like window into it. And to see it on such a huge scale and the way that it was displayed in there and everything was like pretty nice. I'm really glad you had to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. Good job, Bladder.
Are you aware that you are climbing a volcanic plug right now?
I am. I did not even think about that. Thank you for bringing me to where I am. Volcanic plug and all. We're gonna have some straight talk right now. We talked about my frugalness. We're gonna continue down the road of my frugalness. We are at the castle now. And the best I've heard about going into the castle, the reason to go into the castle is if somebody later down the road goes, isn't it amazing in there? And you just go, well, I didn't go inside. That's the best I've heard for going in the castle. So I don't think that it's a good argument to go inside. And we get here and Eric quizzed me on like how much I want to pay, how much I'm willing to pay, and how much would cut the deal for me. We're looking at 17 pounds per person. Double that because there's two of us, and that's about $50 for us to get into this castle. I am stunned, and I'm interested to see what that gets for you as a person going in. What does that mean? Is it just walking around staring at stuff you don't understand, or what does that mean?
You have high expectations?
I don't have high expectations because I've already been stunned.
Well, how about this? Balance it out with the fact that the museum was free.
Good point. I could do that. If the museum's free, I'll knock off a good £5 on that. So £12 per person. Well, we just walked through the gates. We did not know that a big gun was going off until like 30 seconds ago. Wow, I could feel that in me.
All right, just to clarify, when you come into the castle here, at 1 o'clock every day, apparently, we just found out, they've got this big gun that they have a like shooting of. So it's like you get to hear like this big like army thing go off, and a big crowd gathers and gets to watch it and everything. And it's very reminiscent of when we were in Hong Kong years and years ago. They have something called the noonday gun, which, believe it or not, happens at noon. And it's a similar type of thing where there's like a little celebration and then they fire this big gun. It's pretty cool. Like it's like a split second of an explosion, but there's something about like the impact of this thing going off, like hits you like the shockwave. I think it's worth it. I kind of wish we'd been here 20 seconds earlier.
Eric said that we should have been here like 20 seconds earlier, but I honestly think that our timing was perfect, because had we been here earlier, we would have just been standing around in this crowd with a whole bunch of people trying to get the perfect shot. But really what happened is we got what we got, and we were surprised and excited and running and going, and I liked that much better.
Immediately coming in here, it feels completely different than the Skipton Castle. It's way bigger, and this feels more like the Tower of London, where it seems like they have like a community that kind of has, at some point, maybe still does, exist inside. And it's a pretty huge structure, and it's very much on a hill. As we're walking up this hill. But I guess it's not a hill as much as it is a volcanic plug.
It wouldn't be very Scottish if whiskey wasn't involved in things that we're doing. And we've gotten these little whiskey bottles. And some people are going to say like, oh, you're cheating yourself. But we're waiting to get north to try whiskey. We're not going to hit it up in the cities. We're going to go to...
There's a place that's like for it, yeah?
Yeah, I don't know if it's for it, but the number of speckles on the map for distilleries in the area is like everyone must be drunk.
This is amazing, man.
Yep, teeny tiny.
Little teeny tiny things. What are we gonna cheers to?
To Scotland.
To Scotland? Okay. Think.
Oh, that felt good. Down the hatch.
It's not coming out.
Why not?
It's like a whiskey nipple. You got to really give it some work.
I didn't get anything.
Did you taste it at all?
It's like the ketchup bottle.
Did you taste?
But I don't have the knife. I don't have this small enough knife.
Like really get in on there. No, you got to give it some suction, dude. It's pretty good.
Drunk.
It's pretty good. I'm not going to even begin to try to describe alcohol because like I don't know all the right words. But it doesn't burn too much, but it burns a little bit. But like you could sit down with a glass of this and have a pretty decent time.
You have a decent time with that beer?
Back to the nipple.
This is the oldest building in Edinburgh.
This little building is kind of one of the higher points of the castle here, and it's called St. Margaret's Chapel. And it is the oldest structure in the complex, and it was built like 1,000 years ago. It's like super old, and they're like it might have been part of like a tower that was still here, but it's so old they're not even really sure. And when you go inside, it's like literally like the smallest chapel I've ever seen in my life. It's a tiny little room, but just think about how old that is and how many people have been to that. It's like, I don't know, stuff like this blows my mind, but maybe that's because I'm American. Behind me is something called David's Tower, and it is one of those scary little holes in the ground that back in the day armies were hiding from other armies that were invading. It was like the last stand before like these invasions took place, and hundreds of people died of all this disease, and it's all these really horrible things that went on in these places, and it just has this dungeony feel. But of note, during World War II, because they were worried about the German invasion, they took the crown jewels and like the saber and stuff and buried them, hiding them inside of this area. And apparently like the crown was buried underneath a medieval toilet inside of this dungeon. I thought that was like really modern and in a weird way connectable to something that is so not connectable just because of how distant it feels to be like dying of the Black Plague, you know?
Okay, so I've got to give credit where credit is due. Seeing the oldest building in Edinburgh is pretty cool. And getting to see the crown jewels is also cool. I didn't think I'd get to see either of those. I just thought that I'd be coming in here and walking around or being inside the castle. So, and it does have that Tower of London bridge. That did not come out right. That Tower of London feel, is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
It has that feel of that little community in that world that is just, you can't really even imagine it even though you're standing inside of it.
So you feeling all right about your 17 pounds?
Feeling better. Feeling better.
I feel about your 17 pounds.
I feel it was 7 pounds too expensive.
I think it might have been. And part of it was, there was a lot closed actually. Like multiple areas were just like, you can't come in here right now, you can't come in here right now, et cetera, et cetera. And I mean, they were doing renovations and that stuff's gotta happen. But it does sort of feel like you get gypped a little bit when you pay full price for half of a castle. But that said, it is amazing. And I think most of the thing that I like about it is how it's just magnificently sitting on top of this hill, and it's a castle with a landscape inside of it. You got these hills to climb up inside, and you get to feel a little bit like an explorer. Like I feel that jibe a little bit and with it.
In a way, feel involved in a place as opposed to just seeing it.
Yeah, it was all right.
So it was good. I'm still kind of.
You want your 7 pounds back? Even if you calculate in the free, even if you calculate in the free art museum. Then
it would be 2 pounds. 2 pounds they owe me. That's just picking. What's the thing? It's just picking hairs.
Yeah, is it picking hairs?
Straws? I don't know.
Picking noses, y'all.
Yep. Scottish as fuck. We haven't come very far from the castle to a place called Oink. Are you able to see the head in this shot?
Yeah.
So apparently all they do is hog all day long. And they serve sandwiches. That's all I need is a hog sandwich.
So this morning, did they start with a whole hog?
That's my understanding. Each day a hog, and then just go till it's finished. I'm gonna help with that endeavor. So when you come in, the menu is pretty straightforward. You're gonna choose your size between piglet, oink, or grunter. And the larger the size that sounds, the more meat you get. Eric chose the grunter and I chose oink. You can also get a topping, and the toppings or the sauces, we chose applesauce for me and barbecue for Eric. And underneath you could either get haggis or sage and onion stuffing. And I kind of thought haggis is a little bit more meat than I really need in this situation, so we both ended up going with stuffing. I knew that Eric wasn't going to get the haggis anyways, and so that kind of made me want to get it, but I said nah. This is what it looks like. That's my apple meat.
Are you going with an apple? Whoa.
Apple. And the sage
I was
is
thinking
down there on the
applesauce,
bottom.
like, I don't know what I was thinking, but it's like
Kind of seems
like, a
like an apple
sweetness.
jelly.
Interesting.
Yeah. But I can smell your barbecue, and I'm jealous.
Just the smell. I mean, barbecue sauce smells amazing.
But the apple is good.
Is it sweet?
It's sweet. It's like apple pie filling.
No, neat.
Yeah. So I think I'm gonna end up getting a mouthful of that and feeling really good about it. But for the overall ambiance of the meal, I'll be jealous of yours. But I'll get to sniff it the whole time.
I got a grunter, y'all.
Watch your lap. You're gonna get barbecue all over your pants.
This is a hell of a lot of meat, man. And yeah, I don't want to get that all over my drawers. I don't even know how. I need a spoon and a fork and a straw or something.
I've seen people using forks.
Dude, that is so damn good. They said the sauce is like homemade. It is a little bit bitter, almost metallic tasting underneath the sweetness. But the meat, oh sweet God. Oh, that pig's doing good work.
We're low riding today. This counter is ridiculously tall and these chairs are ridiculously small. Even Eric, like, yeah. We've come to a place called the Pie Maker, and maybe coming to get a sausage roll at a place that is known for pies is a weird thing, but I think that if you're known for your pies, your sausage roll is probably pretty good too. We've got a good lineup for our breakfast today. A pasty, sausage roll, and a Scotch pie. Can't go wrong, right? I wasn't originally going to have a sausage roll at all until I talked to a friend, and he almost seemed kind of shocked that I hadn't had a sausage roll. I don't really know what to expect, because I described to him what I thought I was going to get, which was a brat inside of a roll. Like a morning roll, a Scottish morning roll. But this looks way different than that. It's actually a pastry, and it doesn't look like there's a brat inside of there, which I hope there isn't, because that's why I wasn't going to get the sausage roll.
Is it like a minced meat?
It does kind of seem like it has a hot dogness on the inside, but not like the outer skin that has that snap. So you're just kind of biting into a hot dog feeling taste on the inside.
How's the pastry and stuff?
Pastry is really good, like flaky and nice. I would say pretty good. I wouldn't mind trying other things inside. You can get like haggis inside of this and other types of things, but the sausage roll was the thing that my friend talked about, so we'll go with that.
Yo, this table is really high. I feel really weird, like a little kid or something. I'm gonna try the Scotch pie, which is a minced meat with spices and fat, is what it says. And I can't say I'm really that stoked about the idea of fat. And I also was like, how are you supposed to eat these things? So I like looked around the room to find out like how people are eating them. They're just picking them up and eating them. Cause I was thinking like I need a utensil or something, but it's gonna get in here with my hands. That's pretty tasty.
It's all in the fat.
Yeah, maybe it is the fat. The spices are very good. It's very peppery. That's pretty damn good. There's a thing on the wall that says pies are like the greatest invention ever, like food invention. I don't know if I agree completely with that, but I would say that it's a pretty solid snack. Like, I wouldn't want to eat this every day only because I'd be worried of my health, but I would like to eat this every day if I wasn't worried about my health. Like, good breakfast snack, man. In case anybody isn't familiar, these are going to be served warm, and this one is pretty warm, which is a nice touch. Tasty.
When we got to London, the first thing that we ate was a pasty. And we didn't end up making a video of it because we were on the train and we were really hungry, and it was just like, no, we're eating this now. I'm not getting prepped. I'm not bothering people on the train. So this is not our first, but I have no idea what's inside of this one. I don't know if there's like a standard pasty filling that is inside of this, that when you ask for that, that's what you'll get, unless it's something like a different type that's on a sign or whatever. I'm gonna go in strange, straight from the side.
Dude, that's how I want to start eating hot dogs. Sideways.
Lots of veggies. Looks like a beef on the inside. It's got a chicken pot pie kind of feel to it. So you had peppery. Mine is flaky crust, flaky pastry, and this one is homely and stewish. All very different, but all kind of seemed like they might be the same thing. Like when you walked up to this, they won't taste very different, but they taste very different. Okay, so we've kind of finished our meal, and the ranking is sausage roll down at the bottom. Not very good. It's a hot dog in a flaky pastry, and not even like, since it doesn't have the skin, it doesn't have that snap. It's not exciting. It was very, very boring. Next up is the Scotch pie. Good flavor, liked it, would have again. Pasty. Wow. Good texture on the outside, good presentation. It has a mohawk. And the inside is just like, it feels actually healthy. It doesn't feel like you're hurting yourself in any way, so that's my guy. We've come to the National Museum of Scotland because it has a special character, and I wanted to surprise Eric with her. He doesn't know why we're here, and maybe when you see her, you won't even know why we're here, but he will laugh and probably quote some things that then I will laugh about. She's rotating, hold on. You can turn around. Do you know who this is?
Is that the sheep that was cloned?
Yeah.
Ah, that's not a real sheep. I can't remember the quote. Are you serious?
It's not a real, it's just another sheep.
It's just another sheep.
They pulled that trick on the old Dean Martin show.
It's really funny.
It's Dolly.
Dolly the cloned sheep.
Yep.
What up, Dolly?
Eric, we're gonna have a little chat right now. How do you clone something?
I don't know, man. I really have no idea. In a test tube.
Yeah,
It said like it said there was like 277 tries before this one worked.
In the tube, I just see they put a very small sheep, and it's like one of those expander things that comes in the tablet, and you put it in the bathtub with you, and the tablet slowly dissolves into like a little squishy dinosaur. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about. I don't think that's exactly how it works, but
it seems like a smart idea.
I think that they somehow make the DNA something, and then they implant it into like a sheep, and then a real sheep gives birth to it. Like I don't think it grew out of a test tube. I think that they put like a fertilized egg in, and then like inside of a sheep. I think I don't really know.
Yeah.
If I knew how to clone a sheep, I wouldn't be here like just like dillying around. I'd be in a lab making sheep.
It seems like we could have learned a lot more about Dolly when Dolly was happening. But
She's
I didn't
happening
learn
right there.
Not anymore.
She's spinning.
Yeah. Full rotation for the rest of her days.
Yesterday when we climbed up the Scott Monument, we saw a hill that had kind of a distinct feature on it, and it's part of what is called Arthur's Seat. And we talked to some people and they said that there's a really good view of the city from up there. So we were kind of like looking forward to climbing up there. And we got up this morning and we were like, we're going to do it. And then we looked at the weather and then we were like, we're not going to do it. So instead,
we're going to stand on this rooftop.
So we're not going to go hiking. So instead, we've come to stand on a rooftop, basically, yeah.
And report that we're not going to sit in this shitty weather on some sort of rock.
Maybe we should go inside.
Yeah, I think we're going to go inside. Today we're eating lunch at a place called Social Bite. We were turned on to this by somebody who watches our channel, so hopefully they'll be excited that we've come here, not only because we're eating where they suggested, but also because we're helping the community. Social Bite is not just about being a restaurant, it's also about helping the community and the homeless people who are here. Anything that you buy here goes into their charity that's helping give people that are homeless a place to sleep, a place to function, a place to make their lives better so they can get out of homelessness. And an interesting thing that they do here is called suspended items. And that's where you can purchase an item. You're not going to have it. It gets put on like a later base, and when a homeless person comes in, they can claim that item, that drink, that hot sandwich, that anything. So the food that I'm eating, I'm gonna enjoy, but I'm also gonna do a suspended item so that somebody else can enjoy a meal. And one thing that makes that very much possible is that Social Bite isn't expensive. It is quite cheap, and the money that I'm saving, I can give to someone else so that they can have a meal.
Yeah.
Wow.
The whole time that we've been in Scotland, we have been using the bus for public transportation, and it has its ups and downs. Our main comparison of bus systems is to the one in London, and they are similar in that they have the double-decker bus system, and you can get all-day passes and things like that. The difference is that the buses up here don't tell you where you are or what the name of the next station is, and there's a lot of stations, but like, in London, it's like, hey, the next station is blah, blah, blah. And it's got like a display and like, you're like, oh, that's where I'm getting off. But if you're a tourist, you don't know where the hell to get off.
No.
So you spend a lot of time just staring at your phone like, okay, Google Maps, help me out. Is this going to be the right one? And like, you just kind of hope that you figure it out. We have gotten off at the wrong places a couple of times.
And yes, we've gotten off too early.
It's a bit frustrating.
Yeah, it's a bit frustrating. Another thing is that when we were in London, it was very easy to get a card that worked on all transit.
Yeah, on the train and everything.
That card knew you're going from here to there, or you're on this for a certain amount of time.
And it just sorted it all out.
Yeah. Here, I can't figure out how that ticket is purchased. If
So
that
they
ticket
have these apps for your cell phone, and it's like a bunch of third-party companies that have all these apps.
And they can charge whatever
they want. We've noticed like a day pass to ride it, if you buy it from the bus driver, is £4, but on the app it's £7. And it's like, the app is more convenient, kind of.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, but that's a lot more money. That's nearly twice as much.
Yeah.
But then to calculate another level of frustration, when you get on the bus, they can't give change.
Yeah.
So if all you got is £10 and you want to buy a ticket for like £1.70 or whatever it costs, like for a ticket that's within a specific range, which also is another level of complicatedness, they can't give you change. So they're just like, oh, it's £10 then, like whatever.
Yeah. So
it's just like, okay, so you have to go to a convenience store and you have to get change, and it's just like a big runaround.
In London, they wouldn't have been able to give you change, but you had that card.
Yeah, you had the card. Maybe there's a card system here that we just never figured out.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, I looked into a lot of things, and you can't purchase it if it exists. You cannot purchase it on the bus.
That's true.
That's the mode of transportation I plan on taking, and using that card on the bus. So if you can't purchase it on the bus, I feel like it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
The other thing I was going to say, Isle of Man, you could get change.
Yeah, on Isle of Man, all the bus drivers will give you change, but it's much more low key there. There's not as many passengers. I think that's
you're
why.
not sitting in a gigantic
I kind of understand why. The way this works in Japan, if anybody hasn't been there, is there's usually a bot on the bus or on the train or whatever that you might get on, if it's like a countryside train, where you put your money into it and it spits out change, and then you throw the broken up money into the thing. There's like a change maker on the transportation So, like, yeah, it's frustrating.
And even more so, when you put your money into the, like, you come onto the bus, you tell the driver where you're going, or if you want, like, a certain ticket. The driver then watches you put your money into an apparatus. This apparatus does not calculate how much money fell into it. The driver has no idea how much money you put into it, and then they just spit out a ticket.
Yeah, we figured this out because Katie paid for both of us, and then he looked at me like, why aren't you paying? And Katie was like, I was paying for both people. And he was like, you have to tell me, I don't know. And like, okay, your machine doesn't tell you how much money went in? We could have just thrown in Lucky Charms, man.
Yeah, there has been, when we first came in, we thought that a single fare, because we had asked a local who doesn't ride the bus as much as, or doesn't ride the bus, they have a car. But they thought, you know, the local transport price for a short location is £1.60, but that actually went up last month to
a couple weeks ago. He didn't know, so we've been paying $1.50 and didn't know.
We've just been paying $1.60 without knowing that the price had gone up. But the driver has no idea how much you've dropped in there. They have no idea at all. So
this is a lot of room for improvement. And other than that, like the bus goes a lot of places. It's very, very, very convenient in that sense.
Hold on, I gotta check Google to make sure we're not missing our stuff.
If you're a local, it's amazing because you have a card. You don't think about this. Like, you just have like a monthly pass or whatever that you just buy. So it's not like a big deal or whatever. But for a tourist, guys, God, you can step it up a little bit. Are we all right?
Yeah, we're doing good. Yeah, see, I can't be involved with you right now because I've got to check an app.
We're actually already on a leg of the next part of our adventure, headed north in a rented car in Scotland, and we're going to be checking out some of what they have to offer up there, which everybody keeps telling us, like, that's amazing. It's up there. Like, you don't want to just hang out in the cities here. I mean, there's some cool things, but go north.
Go like, more north than you think north you should go.
Which is the thing that, like, they always, that's what I've heard over and over and over and over, right? Yeah. So we've actually been, I guess we've been in Scotland for nearly 3 weeks now. It's something like that because we were in Glasgow for that big snowstorm and we were there for quite a while that all recovered and the town came back to a real town. We did a little bit of exploring there and we had downtime as well between like us, just time to just like do some work to get ahead on video stuff, and you did some work as well. And then we only really spent 2 solid days in Edinburgh, and I felt like that everybody told us to go to Glasgow and spend the time in Glasgow.
Yeah, we looked up, like, I looked up on the internet which places should we go to, because I felt like splitting our time between both of them would just end up, I don't know, then we'd be, spread thin. Yeah. But... And if we hadn't done it the way we did, we wouldn't have seen any of Glasgow, because we would have just been there, the snow would have gone away, and then we would have gone to Edinburgh. Yeah. So, I mean, considering the circumstances, I think it worked out fairly well. But I do feel a little bit like we didn't have quite enough time in Edinburgh. Like, I feel like we did a lot of stuff. I mean, we went to the museums and we did the castle and all the things that are like the major touristy things. But the town is so cool. But to get that feel, to get that vibe, to get that I was telling somebody, like, one of the biggest things about going to a place is getting to the point where you relax. Yeah. Because you spend so much time when you go to a new place, like go, see, do. But that moment that you relax, you actually start to feel and understand a place better than you would if you hadn't, obviously. Yeah. So a lot of people say, like, how long were you here? How long were you there? And I think they're just waiting to hear, did you get bored? Because once you get to where you're kind of bored, then you start actually seeing the character of a city. Like, what's underneath all the little glitz and glam of the tourism industry, or, you know. I don't feel like we had an opportunity to do that in Edinburgh. We were only there for like 2 days. If you're going to go to that area, I would definitely say spend a little more time there. But we have like flights and stuff lined up. We can't stay any longer. So would you say, if somebody asked you between the two, which one? Between the two, I would say go to Edinburgh. And it's super touristy. There are tons of tourists, and like I don't know if I met a single Scottish person the whole time I was there. Like, everybody had an accent that was definitely not from this area. And yeah, we did hear people said it was going to be really international. Glasgow was the opposite. Like, it was, aside from the dudes working in the mini marts and stuff, everybody was Scottish. Like, at all the other little restaurants and everything for the most part. So there is that to be said, but just as a visitor, I found that Edinburgh was a much cooler place to just check out, like the way we did. And I think going to Glasgow had value for sure, but I have to say that if I had to choose between the two, I would feel like I only go to one. I'd say just do the tourist thing, go to Edinburgh, see that giant castle on the hill. It's amazing. I mean, it's super touristy, but it's cool. See the Scott Monument. That was probably one of my favorite Scottish things.
Yeah, just getting to climb up in that thing was awesome.
Yeah, because it was. I felt like I was in a spider. Like that's what like an archaic Gothic spider.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I felt.
So we've pulled over actually for a quick bathroom break and a fika. We're still doing fika from Sweden.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever stop now that I've started.
What have you got there?
This is called tablet, and when I talk to people in Scotland about doing fika and you know what it is, we have a drink and we have a sweet treat and we relax for a moment. I keep hearing about tablet, and tablet is made kind of in the same way as fudge.
Okay.
It is like a sweet soup that ends up, they put it in a tray, they let it cool, and then they slice it into bits.
Okay.
And one of our friends was saying that back in the day, they used to actually just open a drawer in the kitchen, they'd line it with something, and they'd put the tablet in and let it cool in the
like
drawer.
Cupboards? Like
in the drawer. And I really want to do that now. I think it's a terrible idea that I'll probably end up doing. So I have an idea that it's going to be similar to fudge. I did read some things on the internet, but I'm not going to cloud your mind with that.
It says butter?
Well, does it say?
No,
oh, here we go. We've got sugar, milk, butter, glucose, salt, and natural flavorings.
Look at the front. It says butter. Butter tablet. Rich butter tablet.
Butter tablet.
If I looked at that, I would assume caramel is going to happen.
You're feeling some caramel?
I mean, I'm feeling butter, because that's what it says.
Yeah, that's true. I am trying to open it in a weird way. It's not working out.
You have to use your teeth, dude.
There we go.
All right.
Got it on my computer. Computer is not hungry right now.
So it's a little bit crumbly, it looks like.
It smells a bit like burnt butter.
It smells like caramel to me.
Maybe that's what caramel is.
Maybe my eyes are just stronger than my nose. That's a lot of sugar, y'all. Whoa, it's really sweet. That would kill some of our Japanese friends.
Yep. This would definitely kill some not sweet people.
It's good.
It's definitely good. I see the difference between, it's a little more chalky than fudge.
Yeah.
If that explains it. Ooh.
Yeah, and it's kind of like layered a little bit. I think it's pretty good. I don't think I could eat that. If anybody can eat that whole bar in one sitting, like that's like diabetes in a bar right there.
Yeah. It has kind of an attack. Like, not an attack, but like, I feel like it's covering my mouth and just like, you will never forget this flavor. It will never go away. You are now fully saturated in sweetness.
I brought the drink.
He bought a terrible drink.
It's 39p, super cheap.
I want to explain that this drink has been with us since London.
We've been carrying this around for like months.
Just because we go to have fika, and to me, fika is for enjoyment. The only reason that this drink is happening right now is because we don't have a drink in the car.
It's called bubblegum flavored soda, and that is Katie's arch nemesis. She hates bubblegum flavored anything. And of note, it says that it's a full-on flavor. I'm surprised that it says no sugar, though.
We could just mix.
Yeah, we could. And because this is so old, I'm a little worried it's going to blow up. Okay.
The middle is kind of soft.
I noticed that.
Interesting.
I want you to give this a sniff.
I can already smell it over here.
Give it a sniff. Come on, give it a honk. You sniff all your food before.
I'll sniff it.
Give it a deep one. You gonna taste it?
Yeah. I don't back down from a challenge.
I bought this. I bought this specifically because I knew it would be a challenge.
He came over to me in the convenience store. He's like, "You'll drink anything, right?" And I was like, "Yeah."
I drank the stinky Swedish fish. I ate the Swedish fish, dude. So I ate my nightmare.
And it's blue. Blue is the wrong color for everything. It's kind of a dead. It's because of this.
Yeah, you might have wounded the flavor power, the full-on flavor.
It kind of just drops flat.
Yeah, it doesn't taste like much. It tastes like, I mean, yeah, there's definitely some bubblegummy flavor there, but the smell is way stronger.
Yeah.
Man, it's creepy how blue it is, too. Whoa, you can see the bottom of the can. Why is that possible?
You can see the bottom. Whoa. It is that neon blue. It's so blue, it's just seeing straight through.
It's like, no, I think that, like, it's a light source, like the sun. Like it's like radiation or something.
Yep. That is not a good one.
No, it's not.
Bar is quite, like, we see them in
it's a
almost
big-
all the
big brand here.
convenience stores. They've got, like, at least 5 flavors that I've seen of stuff. That now that I've had that, I'll never have it again.
It's time to head north.
We are heading north.
Here you go.
I don't want it.
Can I make a video, okay? What's that thing that we climbed yesterday called?
The Scott Monument.
The Scott Monument?
Yeah.
I can't even hear the song. I just see you jiggling around.
I love this song. I've decided that poached eggs are magic. It looks like a wiener dog.
A lot of times when we go to new cities and stuff, they've also got guys. I can't talk. My mouth is so cold.
You've got 4 kinds of steak: steak and ale, your steak scotch, mixed steak peppers.
Yeah. What is the difference between steak, scotch, and Scottish guide?
There's a big difference. That is basically this beef fat and spices, and this is just steak and gravy. That is more ground, and that is chunky. And this is like the gravy, and this is for fat.
Which one do you prefer for taste?
I don't like any of them that much, and if I would go for any nice steak.
More from Scotland on the way. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss our trip up north. As always, thanks to everyone supporting us at Patreon. Without your contributions, we wouldn't even be able to visit Europe or film this at all. If you use social media, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.